They say gated communities promise safety, perfect lawns, quiet nights, and rules that keep the world outside. But gates don't just keep danger out, they can also lock it in. My name is Mark O'Donnell. I came to Lakewood Estates looking for peace. What I found was control, lies, and something far darker hiding behind perfect hedges. It was close to 10:30 that night when I rolled my old Ford F-150 toward the iron gates of Lakewood Estates. Rain streaked across the windshield, and the wipers groaned in tired rhythm. 14 hours on the interstate had left me numb, my jacket still stinking of gasoline and burned rubber. Lakewood was supposed to be peace. A lake view, quiet streets, no sirens. But as I slowed near the keypad, peace was the last thing waiting for me. Broadside across the entry lane sat a pearl-white Lexus SUV, headlights glowing faintly in the mist. At first, I thought someone had broken down, until she stepped out. Tall, immaculate, umbrella folded at her side like the rain wouldn't dare touch her. Veronica Kane, HOA President, Queen of Lakewood Estates. And from the way she planted her hand on her hip, I knew trouble was about to start. I tapped my horn once, polite. No reaction. "Evening, ma'am. Need a hand?" I called. Her eyes stayed on me, cold and sharp. She didn't answer. She didn't move. Instead, she slipped back behind the wheel, slammed the door, and floored it forward. Metal crunch. The bumper clipped my truck. The jolt rattled through my hands on the wheel. I cut the engine, stepped out slowly into the drizzle. "You rammed me," she barked, voice like a knife. "Reckless outsider." Behind her, the SUV purred, headlights slicing the wet night. I kept my tone level. "Ma'am, you hit me. My truck didn't move an inch." But Veronica wasn't talking to me. She was talking to her phone. The little red light blinked. She was live streaming. Curtains shifted. Porch lights blinked on. The neighborhood was watching. Veronica raised her voice, turning the camera toward my truck. "Neighbors, look what just happened. A stranger rammed me at our gate. Reckless, dangerous." From the shadows near the clubhouse, two large men appeared, Derek and Carl. HOA volunteers, carrying heavy flashlights like batons. I kept both hands visible at my sides. My Bodycam blinked steadily from my shirt pocket, quiet, recording everything. Then Veronica did something I'd seen before, something practiced. She dragged her fingernails across her wrist, shallow red scratches blooming in the drizzle. She hissed for effect, then thrust her wrist toward the phone. "He grabbed me. You saw it." The neighbors gasped. The red light on my Bodycam never blinked. Later that night, back in my empty new house, something slid under my front door. A folded note, ink smudged from rain. I saw what she did. I recorded it. "Be careful. They don't like strangers. CB." I looked across the street. Chloe Bennett, the young woman who had pulled her curtains shut when Veronica was screaming. She had seen it all, and she had the nerve to write me. In my line of work, witnesses willing to speak up are gold. They usually mean one thing: they've already had enough. The next days brought fines, fake violation notices. Staged trash dumped on my lawn. Veronica was building a paper trail to bury me. But then, one night, I saw it. A plain white box truck, no markings, headlights off. Two men unloading cardboard crates into a supposedly vacant house down the street. They moved quick, practiced. Not kids, not neighbors, professionals. When I pulled HOA records, the numbers didn't add up. Inflated contracts, phantom vendors, money flowing into one shell company, Kane Services LLC. Lakewood Estates wasn't just about lawns and mailboxes. It was a laundromat. A front. When Veronica tried to block my truck a second time, screaming for her volunteers, I didn't argue. I pressed play on my Bodycam. The audio spilled into the night. Her Lexus ramming me, her scratching her wrist, her voice accusing. Neighbors stepped out onto porches. Curtains pulled wide. For once, they weren't just spectators. They were witnesses. Veronica's smile cracked. She roared her engine and slammed her Lexus into my truck again, this time in front of everyone. "Veronica Kane, you're under arrest for assault with a deadly weapon." That was the moment the sirens came. Red and blue lights splashing across the perfect lawns of Lakewood. Deputies swarmed the vacant house. Inside, stacks of stolen electronics, medical devices still in shipping crates. A trafficking hub, hidden behind HOA rules. Richard Kane, Veronica's husband, was let out in handcuffs. Derek and Carl confessed. And the neighbors finally spoke. Years of silence cracked open in one wet night. Lakewood Estates had looked like perfection. But behind the gates, it had been something else entirely. In Lakewood Estates, power wore a smile and carried a clipboard. But truth has a way of breaking through, even in the quietest streets. If you've ever wondered what lies behind the gates of the perfect neighborhood, keep listening. Because the story you just heard is only the beginning.